Today I'm announcing a pause on any possibility that a region would go backwards.
Coming up on Good Morning Northwest, we're not quite in phase 3, but Governor Inslee says he's encouraged by Washington's progress.
Plus a big victory for Pfizer that should make its vaccine a lot easier to distribute.
And we're still waking up to some windy conditions out the door this morning, but will these carry over? Will the wind carry over into the weekend? I'll have that forecast. It's coming up.
From KapKView Local News, this is Good Morning Northwest.
Good morning, Northwest, and happy Friday. Thanks for waking up with us. You know, Kristen, it's sure been a windy week, but I can't get over how much better this week has been compared to last week.
Yes, you know when you're heading into spring because, you know, we have the wind around, we have more of the mild temperatures moving in as well. So, yes, that does feel nice, at least around the area. But let's get you started first. Talk more about those winds for today as we're giving you a live look right now in downtown Yakima. We are still looking at some wind gusts early this morning, especially around the Tri-Cities, up to about 40 miles per hour. So there's that wind gust currently, 37 for your wind gust in Walla Walla, and then 39 over into Cle Elum. Now, temperatures early this morning are mostly above freezing. We're looking at just a few showers that are starting to move through portions of the Tri-Cities this morning. The majority of the activity up into the mountains, so some mountain snow showers continue with that winter storm warning in place. And then as we switch over again to some of our temperatures, 46 Tri-Cities, 42 in Walla Walla, and then we're in the upper 30s for Yakima. So as we take a look ahead to your forecast, we'll have another slight chance for a few showers that we will be dodging this afternoon with that high temperature of 51 degrees. So what will that weekend have in store for us? Could we have any rain chances? What about the wind? I'll have that full forecast. It's coming up.
In Yakima, a missing man was found dead inside his car yesterday. In a post from the Yakima Police Department, they said 65-year-old Corey Lane Martin had been missing for over a week. Police got several tips yesterday about a red Jeep parked at a West Yakima retail lot. When officers arrived to investigate, they found Martin dead inside the Jeep. Police have released limited details on his death, but have said that no foul play is suspected. A State Patrol employee is expected in court today to face charges of attempted child rape. State Patrol says the suspect, 27-year-old Trevor Smith, worked as a school bus inspector, but there weren't kids around while he was working. The investigation started a week ago. Court documents say Smith talked to an undercover detective who was posing as a mom with 2 young daughters. They set up a time to meet, and he showed up to a hotel room in Kirkland expecting to find the children inside. He found a SWAT team instead.
Washington Governor Jay Inslee announced regions will not be moving backward in the reopening process, at least for a couple of weeks. Inslee says we've made enough progress to pause for a moment.
We acted, and the reason we acted is because our state was struggling under those very high numbers. But under our current data trends and the progress we've made to knock down this third wave, they've told us that we don't need this really hair trigger circuit breaker, if you will. And so I'm really happy about being able to announce this today.
Inslee says he's not ready to start talking about what phase 3 would look like yet, but he says more information about that next step should be available in the weeks ahead. Yakima County received 12,350 vaccine doses this week, more than double its usual shipment. Officials say it will now be easier for people who have been waiting to get their first dose. But it's still not enough to open the mass vaccination site at State Fair Park. County officials tell us Yakima still isn't receiving enough doses compared to its population size.
Let's hope that this is the first step to trying to have some equity and bring us up to par with the rest of the state. Yakima County needs more vaccines. There's no other way to state it.
Astria Health is holding 2 first-dose vaccination clinics this weekend that don't require appointments, with 1,000 doses set aside for each. Today's clinic is inside the KDNA radio station in Granger, while Saturday's is inside the Valley Mall in Union Gap. They'll both start at 9 in the morning and go as long as supplies last. More than 1,600 people got their second dose of the Pfizer vaccine at the Benton County Fairgrounds mass vaccination site yesterday, despite all the wind. They'll be switching to Moderna vaccines today and again focusing on giving those shots out to people who already received their first dose. A reminder, you do need to have an appointment to receive the vaccine at the fairgrounds. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has agreed to allow the Pfizer vaccine to be transported and stored at normal freezer temperatures. The decision can relieve some of the constraints that have made the vaccine especially difficult to transport and store. The previous recommendation was that vaccine could be stored at ultra cold temperatures between -80 and -60 degrees Celsius.
At 5:06, let's take a quick break here on Good Morning Northwest. But before we do, let's take a live look outside.
And we're still looking at a lot more wind in store for us today. Look at those wind gusts and also a few showers that we're tracking early this morning as well. We'll have that full forecast. It's coming up.
Plus, the #1 team, Gonzaga, had a late afternoon game against Santa Clara yesterday. We have the results.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. The Gonzaga Bulldogs were in action yesterday doing a makeup game in Spokane with Santa Clara. The Zags had some early trouble and headed into the locker room at halftime only up by 2. But in the final stretch, they controlled the game and won 89-75. The final game of their regular season is Saturday night with a makeup game against Loyola. Then the question becomes, will they attend the WCC tournament in Las Vegas? With COVID fears, the Zags may want to sit out and wait for the NCAA tournament. We should know some answers soon. March Madness is just 3 weeks away, and Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis is hosting the event. The transformation for the NCAA basketball tournament has already started. The football field has been covered to prepare for the courts. The director of Lucas Oil Stadium says this year there will be 2 courts set up to allow time for cleaning in between games. He says it's going to take a lot of manpower for it to be ready, so they have some help.
We have the benefit of having a staff that came over from the Hoosier Dome and the RCA Dome before this venue was built. There's a lot of institutional knowledge from hosting Final Fours in those venues as early as 1991.
Lucas Oil Stadium can seat more than 70,000 fans, but the NCAA will only allow 25% capacity because of the coronavirus pandemic.
Former Olympic gymnastics coach John Getter, who was facing human trafficking and sex crime charges, was found dead yesterday. Michigan's Attorney General says he took his own life. He coached the 2012 U.S. Olympic women's gymnastics team and had ties to the disgraced former gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar. Getter was also the former owner of Michigan's famed Tri-Stars Gymnastics Club, where Nassar admitted to sexually abusing young female athletes. Getter was expected to turn himself in and be arraigned on 24 criminal felonies. Those counts included 20 charges of human trafficking and 2 counts of criminal sexual misconduct. It's official. President Biden has revoked the memo from former President Trump, which called Portland and Seattle anarchist havens and threatened to cut federal funding. Trump signed that memo last fall after protesters in Seattle had taken over several blocks of the Capitol Hill district, and Portland was dealing with protests every night, which would often turn violent. Both cities sued to keep their funding. The Bidens plan to visit Houston today to check on the recovery from winter storms. This is President Biden's first official visit following a natural disaster. More than 7 million Texans are still facing water disruptions, and about 11,000 still don't have power. The Bidens plan to meet with local leaders about relief efforts. The president is also scheduled to visit a vaccine distribution center after the weather delayed delivery of about 6 million doses. Another snowstorm heading to the Cascades is looking to add multiple feet of snow to a snowpack that already stands at one of its highest points in years. Winter storm warnings are in effect for the mountain passes through about 10 p.m. tonight due to heavy snowfall that could pile up at a rate of 1 to 2 inches per hour. And Snoqualmie Pass, Stevens Pass, and White Pass could all see 30 to 36 inches of new snow in the 36-hour period. In addition, strong gusty winds are expected to blow the snow and make for near blizzard-like conditions at times. You can expect travel to be difficult across the mountains, and passes could be closed.
Now, Cap gave you first alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Kristen Walls.
And we're seeing some of those restrictions in our mountain passes, which I'll get to here coming up. But we have a wind advisory that's still in place until 9 p.m. tonight. So we have one more day with these very strong winds. Wind gusts at times still could be as high as about 55 miles per hour. So it still includes the entire area. Now switching over to some of our current wind gusts, 40 right now, the Tri-Cities, 24 in Prosser. And then along the foothills, the Blues, Walla Walla this morning, your current wind gust up to about 37. So still some very strong winds out the door this morning. morning. There are your sustained winds. So everybody looking at some breezy conditions. 21 in the Tri-Cities. Actually a little bit calmer here on the Yakima Valley. Yakima, your sustained wind this morning only up to about 5 miles per hour. So looking at a pretty decent start to your day. But as we take you throughout your afternoon with Futurecast, those winds will continue to stay breezy. And then finally overnight tonight and into your day on Saturday, those winds will start to relax. So looking at just a beautiful day in store for us as we head into the weekend with lighter winds Saturday and Sunday and a lot more sunshine returning. Now we're at 46 right now in the Tri-Cities, 42 in Walla Walla, even Hermiston into the low 40s. Still our cold spot Cle Elum at 26, and then Yakima down to about 39 degrees early on. And we have a few light returns that are popping up here this morning on Skywatch radar. Notice a few of these showers now just to the south of the Tri-Cities. So we will have that shower chance on and off throughout the day today, although there's going to be a lot of dry time. And of course, the mountain snow continues as well with that winter storm warning in place. It'll go a little bit longer for the Blues until 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. 12 to 20 inches of additional snow there in the Blues. The Cascades could pick up an additional 10 to 18 inches of snowfall. And then below 2,500 feet for the eastern slopes, 2 to 6 inches there. So again, that winter storm warning until 10 p.m. tonight. The snow continues to fall through the Cascades. As a matter of fact, we have traction tires required for both Snoqualmie and White Pass. Stevens Pass this morning, chains are required there. It is snowing pretty heavily at times with snow as well through Manastash, but no travel restrictions currently. So as we take you throughout your Friday, we're going to see again a slight chance for a rain shower or two to pop up. And then even this evening, still a few showers left over. But then for your Saturday, we're going to turn mostly sunny, lighter winds in store for us. We could have a few more clouds here or there on Sunday, but overall still staying dry with those light winds in store for us on Sunday as well. So highs out there for this afternoon, mid 40s for Yakima, 38 degrees in Ellensburg, 51 today in the Tri-Cities with some upper 40s for Hermiston, Prosser, and Hanford. And then over into Walla Walla at 44. Dayton this afternoon should be up to 38. So overnight tonight, decreasing winds. We'll have that partly cloudy sky. It's just going to be a cold night. Temperatures in the upper 20s and low 30s. So there's your 7-day. After we get through today, it is going to actually be pretty quiet 7-day forecast here. 56 on Sunday. We're going to keep temperatures in the 50s next week, even up to 60 degrees on Thursday. And then your 7-day forecast for Yakima. We should have a pretty quiet weekend in store for us. Partly sunny there on Sunday with that high of 53.
Best Buy is altering its workforce in response to a higher demand of online shopping. The retailer laid off 5,000 workers this month, mostly full-time employees. But it's also planning to add about 2,000 new part-time positions. This year, Best Buy expects to close more stores. The company has shut the doors at 40 locations in the last 2 years. With increased online shopping, stores that do stay open will likely be redesigned. Best Buy is piloting a new layout that reduces the size of its sales floors and expands the space dedicated to shipping orders.
At 5:25, check this out. This passenger earned his driver both praise from authorities and a ticket. That's because this is not a human, it's a mannequin. A California Highway Patrol officer spotted it in a vehicle that was in the carpool lane. Pretty convincing, huh, Neil? The CHP said it's, quote, one of the best dummies we've ever seen. It was even wearing work boots and a face mask. The driver admitted, thanks to the mannequin, he had been driving in the carpool lane for 1.5 years. But his good luck didn't last. He was cited, and the violation will cost him over $400. But I can tell you, Neil, from living in California, $400 compared to how much time he's probably saved over the past couple years, he's pretty clever.
And he's probably not the only person doing this. There's got to be other people doing this. I love this, and I'd love to see more pictures of other people's mannequins in their cars.
Yes, but don't do that. You will get in trouble. All right, coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, Walla Walla students are one step closer to being back in classrooms. We'll hear from the district about a new testing program to try and stop the spread in school.
Plus, the state Senate has approved a measure that would ban the open carry of guns and other weapons on the Capitol campus.
And as we're giving you a live look outside, still a windy start to the day. But again, how long will these winds stick around? What will that weekend look like? Your forecast is coming up.
In an effort to keep schools safe, Walla Walla Public Schools are now offering COVID-19 tests on campuses. The program is sponsored and paid for by the state. Walla Walla schools will offer the rapid antigen and PCR test, which will be administered by a health worker at the school. The tests are voluntary and available for students and staff at each school.
Some did great with online learning, and others, just hasn't been a great vehicle for them. And so this enables us to keep more kids in school every single day.
Right now, elementary and middle schoolers are on hybrid learning schedules in the district. And after nearly 1 year of not being in classrooms, high school students in Walla Walla are on the road to return. The Walla Walla School District announced that high school students will head back the week of March 8th. The high schools will operate under a new schedule with half of classes in the morning and half in the afternoon. The principal of Walla Walla High School tells us safety is a priority, but they're excited to be welcoming students back.
First and foremost, honestly, is the safety of students and staff. That is a priority. While everyone has been excited from day one, since last year on March 17th, which is the last time that we had students fully on campus here, we've been looking forward to this date.
Ninth graders will start on March 8th, followed by 10th through 12th grade students returning on that Wednesday, the 10th. Principal Higgins says there will be around 15 students in each classroom at a time, and while students will be seated 6 feet apart, masks will be required throughout the day.
In Oregon, the Hermiston School District says middle school students will start hybrid learning on March 22nd. That's about 2 weeks after elementary students are expected to be fully transitioned into the hybrid system. When it comes to middle school, students living within walking distance will have classes in the morning, and anyone who needs to catch the bus will go in the afternoon. If everything goes as planned, high school students will get back in the building the second week of April. Teachers in Oregon have access to the vaccine already, but most teachers in Washington do not. And that's raising concern about the push to get kids back in the classroom. So much so that some teachers unions on the west side are refusing to go back.
I mean, I think the main message is that, you know, it's not safe for us to go back in person. It's particularly not safe for us to go back in person before teachers have had vaccinations.
Within Tacoma Public Schools, there is very little consistency in safety protocols from building to building.
The CDC says teachers don't need to be vaccinated before returning to classrooms, and Governor Inslee says schools across the state have showed that even the youngest of students can follow mask rules and stay socially distanced enough to make in-person learning safe. Members of Washington's Clark County Republican Party have voted to formally censure Representative Jaime Herrera Beutler of Battleground over her vote to impeach former President Donald Trump. The Columbian reports the group pledged to withhold funds from Herrera Beutler's future campaigns unless she appears in person at the group's meeting in May to explain her action. The resolution passed by a wide margin. The censure criticized the impeachment process as lacking proper procedure. Herrera Beutler has said she voted to impeach Trump because he incited a riot intended to halt the peaceful transfer of power from one administration to the next. The Washington Senate has approved a measure that would ban the open carry of guns and other weapons on the Capitol campus. It would also ban them at or near any permitted public demonstration across the state. The bill would prohibit people from carrying weapons either on their person or in their vehicle while attending a permitted demonstration at a public place or while being within 250 feet of a permitted demonstration. It also prohibits openly carried weapons in the state capitol or on Capitol grounds. The bill now heads to the House for consideration. The Washington Supreme Court struck down the state's felony drug possession law yesterday. Unlike similar laws of every other state, it didn't require prosecutors to prove someone intentionally possessed drugs. The ruling came in a case of a Spokane woman who had received a pair of jeans from a friend that had a bag of meth in a pocket. Lawyers say the decision could result in thousands of drug possession convictions being vacated. It also means some prisoners doing time for other crimes will need to be resentenced if drug possession convictions boosted their sentences.
Now, CapKView First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Kristen Walls.
Well, happy Friday, everybody. Thankful it is the end of the work week, but we still have a lot of active weather to get through today. We still have the wind advisory that is out until 9 p.m. tonight. So as you're waking up this morning, certainly The winds probably kept you up last night, just like me. We still have some wind gusts at times today. Could be as high as about 55 miles per hour. So as we switch over to some of our current wind gusts, really seeing those winds picking up in the Tri-Cities, up to about 40 miles per hour. Walla Walla, Pendleton, in Dayton, all looking at those winds, 30 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts. And even our sustained winds this morning have been picking up. So as we switch over to those sustained winds, up to close to 30 in Walla Walla, 21 in the Tri-Cities, but fairly light for the Yakima Valley. Even Toppenish, a pretty calm wind speed for you early this morning, but you still will have the chance to see some gusty winds. As you'll see throughout your day on Friday, today we'll have those winds still picking up across our area, and then finally starting to wind down overnight tonight and into your Saturday. We will have lots of improvement. Those winds back to about 5 to 15 miles per hour for the upcoming weekend. Now temperatures out the door, we're at 39 in Connell with 46 in the Tri-Cities, 42 in Pendleton, Cle Elum down to about 27, and then 39 over into Yakima. And we're looking at some light returns even popping up here on Skywatch radar. You can see some of those heavier showers even moving into parts of Oregon this morning. But as we take a closer look around Yakima, you can see a few of those showers. Sela, Yakima, and Union Gap. Your temperatures are just above that freezing mark in the upper 30s. And then we have a few of these showers that are now south of the Tri-Cities. You can even see some yellows here showing up, some moderate showers as well for Milton Freewater, Athena. You'll have the chance for some rain showers. So I think a lot of the daytime today will have dry time, but then just a shower or two popping up this afternoon. We also still have that winter storm warning in place, northern blues, which will actually go until 10 a.m. Saturday. And then the eastern slopes and the Cascades will go through 10 p.m. tonight. Cascades could pick up an additional 10 to 18 inches of snowfall during this time frame. And there's still a lot of snow, heavy snow right now, and some blowing and drifting of the snow as well. That's going to be another concern if you're going to be heading over those mountain passes. We have traction tires required right now for Snoqualmie and also White Pass, and chains are required for Stevens Pass. It is snowing for Manastash, but currently no travel restrictions there. So as we get you over to what we can expect throughout the day today locally, we'll have just a slight chance for an isolated rain shower or two to pop up this afternoon and also for this evening, but really quieting things down into Saturday, even for your Sunday. We'll have a few more clouds, but overall it is going to be a picture perfect weekend. Temperatures for today, 48 in Toppenish with mid-40s there in Yakima, 51 Tri-Cities with 49 in Hanford into Hermiston, and then up to about 44 for Walla Walla. So overnight tonight, we'll have decreasing winds, partly cloudy, upper 20s and low 30s. So there's that 7-day forecast. Quiet weekend, and that'll continue for next week with a lot more sun. 53 on Tuesday, even up to 60 degrees on Thursday. And after we get through today, things quiet down as well for Yakima. 49 Saturday, and then up to 53 on Sunday.
Thank you, Kristen. Federal health officials say the second doses of the COVID-19 vaccine are going out faster than the first ones. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released new data on vaccine distribution. It showed for the first time the number of second doses administered outpaced first doses over the past week. Of the 10 million doses administered, just over half were second doses. A total of 68 million vaccine doses have been given to Americans so far, with about 14% of the population receiving at least one dose, and more than 6% of the population has received both shots and are fully vaccinated. President Biden is ready to roll once Johnson & Johnson's COVID vaccine is approved. The single-dose vaccine is pending FDA emergency use authorization. Biden says once that happens, the vaccine will be distributed as quickly as Johnson & Johnson can make it. The rollout could happen as soon as next week. White House officials say states will receive around 2 million doses of the vaccine, and the remaining doses will be allocated to pharmacies and community health centers. We're coming out of what would usually be peak flu season, but this year, doctors say they're hardly seeing any cases. All the things we're doing to fight coronavirus, like wearing masks, using lots of hand sanitizer, and keeping our distance from other people, are the same things that fight all other viruses, including the flu. The CDC says this is the lightest flu season they've ever recorded.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. Multiple Tri-City restaurants are participating in the 15th annual Dine Local Week starting on Monday. Cap KVU's Ellie Nakamoto White shows you how to get involved and have a chance to win hundreds of dollars in local gift cards.
United Way of Benton and Franklin counties in Kennewick is partnering with 15 restaurants.
These restaurants have been hit really hard during COVID this past year, and yet they still want to give back to their community.
Their goal, to give back to those in need.
We work with local restaurants who give back a portion of the proceeds from their sales. The proceeds that those restaurants donate back to us go to help fill gaps in our community and address the really big areas of need.
From March 1st to March 7th, you can get discounts at select eateries.
We just have a regular menu open up to public and, whatever the customer prefers. We have about 20 dishes between our brunch, lunch menu, and dinner menu.
We're actually going to do 10% of our sales for all our dine-in sales.
You also have the chance to win hundreds of dollars in gift cards in their new raffle.
People can buy raffle tickets for $20. We're only selling 400, so you've got pretty good odds. And if you win, you get all $750 worth of gift cards to local restaurants.
Dovetail joint owner Marin McGowan says customers are what kept her Richland restaurant open during the pandemic, so she just wants to do her part.
It's really important to us to be a part of the community and be good stewards in the community.
It's really a win-win because people are going to go out and eat anyway. And if they eat out at one of these places, part of their the cost of their meal is going to come back into the community and do good for our friends and neighbors that might need help.
In Kennewick, Ellie Nakamoto White for Cap KVUE Local News.
Thank you, Ellie. A complete list of participating restaurants and details for the gift card raffle can be found on our website, yaktrinews.com.
All right, switching gears at 5:56 to that close to home forecast. We have a few showers that we're tracking early this morning. And of course, those winds will continue to kick around for today. 50 degrees today in Burbank with 49 in Kennewick. Benton City today close to that 50-degree mark this afternoon. And then we'll have a few more rain showers here along the foothills of the Blues. Some of your wind gusts still could be up to about 45 miles per hour. 39 degrees today in Athena with 43 in Pendleton. Hermiston today jumping up to that high temperature of 49 degrees. And a lot more sun is in the forecast here around the Yakima Valley. Just a slight chance for an isolated shower and still breezy for you as well. 48 for Zilla and DeGranger. 47 for Wapato. Sela today at 45 degrees. And then a lot more snow for Ellensburg and Cle Elum today. 38 degrees in Ellensburg. And then some sunshine in Vantage with that high of 45.
Thank you so much, Kristen. In Wenatchee, they're getting the high school band back together, and they've done it all while staying safe. These so-called pods are set up in the band and choir rooms. Here, individual students get inside, zip themselves in, and then remove their masks to play their instruments or sing. A welcome change after spending an entire semester in online band and choir classes.
It's so liberating that we get to create, because I would be so sad if we didn't get to do choir.
This is amazing. Wenatchee High School is also currently rehearsing for their spring musical. They're going to pre-record the vocal tracks so the students won't have to sing on top of one another on stage. This is so clever. I just love it.
You know, it's one of those things where you got to do what you got to do.
Exactly.
And this is the perfect example of that, being able to learn exactly.
Super creative.
Yeah.